And there we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday Mindset. Today is such an awesome day. It's the end of the month, the 31st, which is this beautiful wrap up of energy that's been going on for people. There's been some really profound shifts and things going on this week. A lot of people are feeling the full moon energy, the Sagittarian moon energy that's coming up just in the next couple of days. This weekend is going to be a big old full moon, and we're finally shifting into Sagittarian energy, which will bring kind of some confidence, some growth, some surety, some feelings of believing in ourselves and really kind of allowing ourselves to write this new script, kind of scripting the way we want things to go versus the way things have always been. And I think one of the biggest lessons for people over this last couple of weeks has been the fact that we can stop a lot of the generational trauma, the things that have happened to us as we were growing, all of these lessons that we learned about having to take care of everybody else and having to always do things a certain way. It's like this growth that's happening is allowing us to really see our power and to really see how empowering we can be to others, and to be able to kind of allow people to um, come into their own and into their truth by us being that way ourselves, by us, really allowing ourselves to grow in the way that we want to. We're showing others that it's safe and giving them space, and on a collective level being able to help us really shift into this new consciousness. So it's very cool. A lot of the psychics and card readers and stuff out there get really excited about Sagittarius energy because we're getting into the fire again, into that kind of like, ooh, what do I really want to create here? And it's coming very easily. It's not this kind of like, well, if you want this, we got to go through this test first. It's been a very testing sort of last big season of growth as we plant those little seeds and now understand what it takes to nurture them. And we get to start to see the plants really take off. It's like the roots are really catching, and the plants are really growing, and we can actually almost see that direction, and it starts to flow a little bit more. It doesn't feel like you're just like, ooh, is it going to take, or I got to make sure that I'm doing this and that so that they don't die right away. It's like this sort of this growth period. And so the word growth kind of keeps coming back into my field all the time. So today, what I wanted to do was get back into, and it's really neat because values are something that will create our thoughts, that will create our beliefs, that will create the way things wind up being created in our life. And our values, I feel, can change quite a bit over time. I mean, they've changed. If you think about back to when you were a teenager, the values that you had, right? It was mostly friends and having fun and music, and it wasn't necessarily about, spiritual growth, and I mean, for some of us it was, but that priority wasn't necessarily there. We sort of feel a little bit differently than we did at that stage in the game, but we're changing almost weekly now, where our values are kind of becoming a little bit more apparent to us, and understanding those things that we really stand for and stand against will create our belief patterns. And so to really understand this and to really know what your values are, it's really great to be able to take a little bit of a deep dive into those every once in a while. And about once a year or so, maybe twice a year, there's a mosquito in my office. Darn things. I find it really good to just kind of go through some of those values that will strike a bit of a chord, or it's like, allowing this orchestra to kind of play together when we have this really good understanding of what's important to us. So um, one of the first things that we do is get into a state of gratitude. And now this has been coming up for people in that they're going through so much. They're going through some dark nights of the soul. They're going through some patterns where they're like, oh gosh, I'm my mother, or they're going through some patterns where they're finding themselves having these kind of aha moments. And when we can go into acceptance around those, this is where we really truly have this kind of emotional mastery. So it goes it goes in patterns, but what I find is that we always, or at least this is something I always did, was tried so hard to control everything around me, but I wasn't necessarily controlling my own reactions to things. And this is where that shift of power kind of comes in. When we understand that we can control our reactions to things, we can always control our emotions, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. We're able to do this by truly seeing how we feel and noting that when we don't feel good, when we're really not feeling good, when something is not feeling good, it's generally because it's not in our best interest, or it's not for our soul's greatest expansion. And so when we're talking about, feeling good and all this kind of stuff, is do things that you love, it's truly to bring you into the vibration of love and acceptance and gratitude and appreciation, because we can't fool the universe. We can't be out there acting like Susie Sunshine, and then as soon as we're home by ourselves being a big grumble puss, or whatever your alter ego is. I always call mine Penelope, where she's just that one that kind of makes things difficult. So I've been calling her out more and more lately. Deb Erickson had taught us those alter egos, even to name them. And at that point, I the one that will throw you off track, I named her Penelope at the time. And so now that I've been finding donkey videos where this little donkey was named Penelope, and she was just stubborn, and I had to laugh. Like, these things are coming into our field for a reason. So when we're paying attention in a way that we can grow from, that we can understand that our frequency is what is bringing to us whatever we are putting out. And whatever we are putting out, it doesn't matter if it's in front of people, if it's by ourselves. Sometimes it's that self-talk or that self-exploration that we have to really be able to look at in an honest fashion. So this week is kind of about being honest with yourself, being honest with others, being, really allowing the truth to prevail. And truth is a big value for me. So this really resonates with Sagittarius energy for me. It's why I feel like it's such a big shift, is that if you're a person that the truth really matters to you, being honest no matter what, being being held in that someone can tell you the truth honestly without having to sugarcoat something or beat around the bush so that you won't react, or you can honestly be yourself around people. These are the people that we really need to start spending more time with, the people that it feels good with. There's a lot of shifting happening around friends and people that we have a certain amount of energy. It's not that we have a lack of energy, it's where our energy goes, where our energy is flowing, and are we letting it flow to those that still aren't kind of serving our higher purpose? I mean, we have to view everybody with love, and we have to feel that love, but are we allowing ourselves to be drained in an energy, like when you're feeling like, I just really don't want to go hang out with this person? Maybe pay attention to that. There may be something in that. See it with love, see them with love and truth, and maybe there is something that you can do to help them, but you might not have to go see them or spend 5 hours with them this week. You might just be able to block out a half an hour, have a really good chat with them. They may get into a higher place, you may be in a higher place, and then we don't have to overdo the doing that we've been doing. We don't have to make sure that everybody's okay. The only one that we can really make sure is okay is us, so that we have the energy to go forward and create what it is we want to create. So coming into the 1st of June, I'm encouraging everybody tomorrow to get out their cinnamon oil and utilize it, put it in the diffuser, get that cinnamon energy. It's really good for manifestation. It's really good for full moons. It's really good for the first of the month to sort of bring in all of this energy about the manifestation, and will also keep you focused, right? This is the key theme for this week, I feel, is focus. If we could just focus on what it is that we want, we would be able to really propel forward. So this is like, for some people, this has been a new script writing, a new life writing sort of reset button, where they're getting divorced, they're in the hospital, their bodies have shut down. Like, it's like they're getting the ultimate reset button, the ultimate rescripting button, the ultimate moment in time to literally script out how you want things to be. So it's a beautiful time to kind of look at what it is that you value, what it is that you, when you think about living a life that you love, really kind of getting into our core four, as I call them, really thinking about, how is it that I can just really love the life that I'm living right now? How can I get into that state of gratitude about that? What is it that I really want? Like, what do I really love about life right now? And really kind of writing some of those things down so that you can look back at them and just feel good about it, that you can actually really start making this forward path of least resistance pattern, so that it doesn't feel like a struggle, so that we're actually taking that growth step in the right direction, because this is a powerful time. So if we take advantage of it, when we have this cosmic energy that's giving us that boost of self-confidence, we're just able to move that much quicker. So it's kind of like knowing that that support is behind us and really just allowing ourselves to go for it. So there's a few things that I like using for gratitude and for values. Darren Hardy has this free, if you look up Darren Hardy values worksheet, even on Google, you'll find this, I think it's about a 15-page package that he puts out that's all about, it's got gratitude exercises in it, and it's got a values jogging list, so a memory jogging list, so that you can actually think about some of the values. So I'm going to ask you guys a few questions and have you write them down, just to kind of get us into gratitude, just to sort of get us into the right visual, into the right vibration, to go forward with a little bit of just a recode on, the things that we could do. We're going to get our month set up. We're going to really think about what we want June to look like, because June is going to be a huge month. When we think about all of the things that doTERRA has provided for us to be able to really move forward this month, what if you just let yourself? What if you just let yourself grow this month? What if you just challenged yourself that right now, all of these things that you've been sort of thinking about, putting out the videos, I've had some real insights lately, just by listening to what people are saying and being conscious, being present, where one of my husband's friends was looking for me online and trying to find my page and trying to find all this stuff. And he's like, you were really difficult to find. Like, have you ever thought about just having a Twitter and doing like little 45-second reels? And he was the third person that I had say that to me that week. But also the people that did find me found my YouTube, and they're like, yeah, it's a little long, Jackie. Like, every video is like an hour. I can't have an hour to just sit and, and it's like, it's true. People don't have the attention span for that. So it's great for a setup group that wants all that info. But in trying to kind of get out there, I'm not giving anybody anything. They can't even find me. And that occurred to me is because I was a little bit afraid to be seen still. So it's like, boom, boom, boom. All these things are just, triggering. So what can I do about that? I can make a list about all the things I want to do next week. Or I could just kind of actually do a 45-second reel when I'm feeling inspired about the full moon, or be inspired about whatever it is, and just start putting it out there. I have a Twitter account, haven't used it. I found myself talking to Rosetta yesterday. I was like, well, maybe I can make a new group. I went in, I have like 8 groups going right now that I'm not physically putting enough into every day. So it was like, I don't need another group. I need to support the groups that I have, that I've set up, that are there, that are, even when I went last week and made a post on my BioFlow page, all of a sudden I had 8 new members added. They it was, if I'm not doing it, it's not going to happen. And I just, sort of keep thinking that it's going to sort of happen on its own without me doing it and just writing it down. It's, what's that action step I need to take? And it became so clear. I really need to, even if it was that I give up my, right now I put a lot of energy into my Friday night webinars, and I do classes Mondays and Wednesdays as well. And then I see one-on-ones on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So maybe if I give up, one of my free webinars that maybe aren't, um, um, the best use of my time, we're starting to feel like, what is the best use of my time in orientation to where I'm going, right? Once we start to really get clear about where it is that we're going, that clarity comes as to what will actually really help us get there. And so where our time is best used is a big shift that's happening for people right now. So looking at some of the things that we do that, whether if we enjoy them, if it's something that's lighting us up, obviously you're not going to want to give those up. But if you have a really strong inclination to get somewhere and to be moving in the right direction, we could have potentially set things up in our past that, like for me, I was always having to be busy. My kids' sports, my kid that all prevented me from really allowing myself to ever succeed in anything, because I was always spreading myself so thin. That was my excuse. I always had something going on. And so I couldn't fail if I wasn't trying in the first place. And that's a scary thing, right? So it's like these insights are really coming clear and really coming to fruition because they have to, because we're heading into these big manifestation months. So I'm hoping that with doing this little exercise here, that it will bring you guys to some clarity. It will give you some ideas of some of these values that you even want to instill. And we're going to start off right away by just kind of getting into the gratitude mode. This little, if we're not sure of exactly where we're going, or if we, just kind of want to raise our vibration to get into gratitude, to literally raise our vibration enough to be able to be in that state, that this is where the vibration, the laws of the universe come into play. We're emitting that. We're not fooling anybody. We're not saying one thing, doing another. We're literally getting into gratitude. We're moving our body, mind, and soul, our conscious and our subconscious, into the vibration of gratitude. That's all it is, right? So I want you guys to think about 3 really amazing people in your life right now that you're just really grateful for, that make you smile when you think of them, whether it's your family, whether it's an influencer that you've just found that's lighting you up, whether it's a mentor or a teacher or your children or even your pets, someone or something. I want you to think of 3 that you're really, really grateful for, that you just like, that are just amazing, that you're just, they're in your life. You're so grateful for that. I want you to just think about them right now and list their names in your head, or you can write them down too if you want. And then as you just sort of list their names and give a smile and let your heart feel light as you think, like, I'm so, like, my kids and my husband, the 3 of you, the 2 of you that are on here right now, the people that are around us. I just think, wow, I have so many amazing people in my life. I can't even just write down 3. But when I think about, God, how lucky I am to have my kids and my husband, and the way they are, like a 15 and 16-year-old girl, and that, like, I still get hugs from every day. Just, those ones that want to make you cry because you just love them so much. Just feel grateful for them. Because imagine if they weren't here. Oh my gosh, what would life be like without them? Just feel so good about that. And now I want you to think about 3 things about your physical body that you just love. I want you to really be, this one was tough for me when I was doing this on Monday. I was like, okay, what do you like about yourself? What's something about your physical self that you can just be in gratitude for right now? Maybe it's even just that your cells are working, that you were able to get out of bed today with no pain, that you, like, your body's working. We're always so critical on our body. Like, oh, I'd like this to be different. And my one eyebrow is a little bit different than the other one. We're so easy to just, we're so fast to pick things apart. And I want you to put things together. I want you to be grateful for 3 things in your body, whether it's your nails. I have nice long nail beds, so I don't have to worry about having short, stubby nails, or whatever it is. I want you to think of 3 things, your skin, or for your age, you're looking pretty damn good, or your hair, or just your legs. What's your favorite feature about your body that you've always had? And really, no beating yourselves up, just thinking about the good things about your body right now. And just being really grateful for those. What's a part of your body that you don't mind kind of showing off? For some, it's the shoulders, or, the décolleté, or the whatever it is. What's something that you just love about your own physical body? Maybe it's the fact that you can heal so easily, and that, you're a person that's very rarely sick. I can feel my body releasing just thinking about some of those things. Just feeling so grateful for being so healthy, being one of those, beacons of health per se, even if it's not perfect. Really just thinking about those things that you love about your physical body. And now I want you to think about 3 great things about your home and where you live. And just go there right now. Your home. Oh, the space that you have, the things that you have, your house itself, your garden, the fact that you kind of manifested this, that you're living this life that you love. And as we're in this state, I'm going to ask you guys about some values that you see in other people, some that you may see in, someone who's really got it all, someone who's an influencer, maybe someone who is important to you. I want you to think of a value or a characteristic that others embody that you would just like to create more of in your life. And I'm going to go through our little memory jogger, and I want you to think about your top values. And if I'm saying a word that just really strikes a chord with you, like playing in a musical ensemble symphony, something that just resonates really well with you, I want you to just write some of those words down, or take note of them mentally, and just allow them to stay up in your mind's eye, and just kind of focus on these future values that you choose to hold, because there's lots that we've had in the past, but we're talking now about the future and about the present. And I want you to think about some of these values, because they may not have been on our values list as we grew up, like abundance, for example. I never thought about having abundance as a value. It wasn't something that, I wanted to work to make money, but it wasn't about abundance itself. It was about the feeling of freedom and being able to put the gas in my car to go with my friends where I wanted to be. So I'm just going to go through a little list of some of the values. And if you can think of some at first that pop up for you immediately, write them down. Like if it's friendships or harmonious relationships or peace or balance, or I'm going to just start running through some words, and I want you to just write down the ones, or take a mental note of some of the ones that do feel really good to you. So abundance is the first one. I have them kind of in alphabetical order here. So I'm going to just go through some of the ones that might feel good for you. So abundance, acceptance, being accepted, accountability. Is accountability important to you? Is that something that maybe never made it on the values list before? Yeah, we want to be accountable, but do we really want to show up? Do we really want to follow through? Do we want to be that person that is accountable? We're scripting this next 6 months, 6 years. So what's important to you going forward that's just going to be something that you really stand for? Adaptability, is that something that feels good? Or adventure? Ambition? Appreciation? What about assertiveness? Do you want to have boundaries? What about attentiveness? Do you want to be that attentive soul? What about being aware, just having that awareness, being present? Balance. Is balance important? I feel like balance is like going at the top of my list, where it is something that was so far from my values list. It was all, I was trained to just give and give and give until you have nothing left, and don't sleep, don't stop, don't be weak. Just, balance was not a thing. And now it's something that I just strive for and thrive on every single day, and just relish in it, the balance. What about calmness or clarity? Or maybe charity is really important to you. Maybe it's important to you to be giving in some way that's really making a difference for you. Everybody's different. What about being creative or curious? What about community, comfort, being comfortable? What about consciousness? Actually allowing us to understand that the subconscious runs 88% of the show, and the conscious mind is that 12% telling us, yes, this is what we want, and getting them in line. Creating that space where you know that you're taking that time. What about making a difference, right? Getting into control. Is control over your emotions important, or is controlling others important to you? What about desire? Being decisive, being able to make that decision, being clear. What about dignity? Drive. That's a big one. I've been admiring people's drive lately. My husband's drive to just get up at 5 a.m. and drive 18 hours to wherever the heck he's going. He's just got such drive. I just admire that so much. What about eagerness? Do you want to wake up in anticipation and excitement and being eager? Is that something that you really want to have come forward in your life over the next 6 months, 6 years? Effectiveness, education. Do you feel like education is a really big thing for you, a really big value? What about efficiency? What about not wasting time anymore? Being efficient, working smarter, not harder, like they say. Do you want to be encouraging to yourself, to others? And energy. Where is your energy going to be going? Where is your energy going to be flowing? Where is it going to be draining out of? Is excellence important to you? Is it important for you to thrive in excellence? What about experience? What if we were to just embrace the experience that we're having every day and noticing this journey and being excited about being on it? What about faith? Having faith, that is truly one of the most important things. And for a lot of us, that's not listed as a value. It's not something that we put energy into every day. It's not even something we think about on a regular basis. But what if we did? What if we focused and had faith as one of our top values? Friendship, forgiveness. What about forgiving ourselves for some of the things that we have perhaps done? A lot of the traumas, a lot of the pain, a lot of the deep, dark, shadowy stuff has been coming up over the last couple of weeks. And that's for us to be able to actually move through with forgiveness, to forgive ourselves for some of the things that we've done in the past, and to know that it is the past. And we can change things moving forward. We can see it as a turning the cheek, turning the leaf. How do you want things to be scripted from now on? Do you want things to be fun? Do you want fun in your life? Are you a fun person? How does that feel? What about just having grace and gratitude in your life as a value, as a known value, as an important value? What about happiness and harmony, health? Is health something that should be in your values, but maybe doesn't even show up there sometimes? Honesty. This has been a time for truth. Sometimes the truth hurts. But if you're a person that revels in honesty and truth, this shift into Sagittarius moon is going to be very powerful, because we're going to have these blunt truths coming forward, and I feel like a lot of us are really ready for that. What about being hopeful, influential? What does the word ingenuity mean to you? And integrity. Oh, how does that settle? Having that integrity, inner peace. What about investments? Investing in yourself, setting things up, scripting life to be focused on abundance and investing. Is this something you've ever done before? What about true joy, kindness, leadership, allowing others to stand on your shoulders and watching them grow, and just feeling, being that leader that you know that you are? Is money a value of yours? How does that feel? Just notice. Motivation, opportunity, optimism. What about outstanding service? What about being that person that goes above and beyond, but not in a smarmy way, in the way that you just we have this outstanding service. Our team's phenomenal in what we have to offer. Even just the education, the knowledge that we have inside of our small group here, and the things we could do, the mountains we could move with our passion. What about personal growth? Is that something that is a value to you? What about pleasure? Is that something that you allow yourself to have? When I say these words, how does it make you feel? If there's a little discord, look at that. Is that something you want, or is it something you know you've been denying yourself of? Proactivity, being proactive, saying, you know what, I'm going to do it now. I'm not going to wait till next week or till Monday or till the full moon. I'm going to go and I'm going to post right now. I'm just going to do it now while I'm feeling inspired. I'm just going to make it happen. Be a make it happen kind of person. What about punctuality? How does that word feel to you? Punctuality. It's something that's made it to my values list that was never on my values list before. And I realized that me always being late for something was literally just a reaffirmation of not being worthy and not belonging. And so we make ourselves, this is a huge part of limiting beliefs, is we make ourselves late so that we truly can't succeed from the beginning. You know, you're always missing something, you're always the outcast, you're always, you know, oh, they're always late. It's just this perpetual self-sabotage. And now I'm early for things and I'm very cognizant of time. I try to really be careful. Look at punctuality and how that feels. Relationships. How are your relationships? Do you value those? Are they going to go on your top 10 values list? Respect, responsibility, romance. even for those of us that are in a relationship, how much romance do we allow in? Do we just gaze into our partner's eyes like a cheesy Hallmark movie every once in a while? If not, we should, right? Self-esteem, simplicity, spirituality, strength, stability, teamwork, trust, truth, well-being, and wisdom. And I want you guys to think about making a difference in people's lives. What does making a difference feel like? And so right now I want us to just let these values just flow through our field, and let this, we have this little filter that goes between the conscious and the subconscious. And right now what we're going to do is, it's like we're extracting that filter. We're allowing the subconscious and the conscious to all get on the same path, to all of these parts of us to really dial into this path that we are headed down. And I'd love for us to just take a few minutes and recode anything that's coming up as resistant in the field, and really get into this visualization of choosing to love this life that we live, just to really enjoy our life right now. How is it? How is your life? How much do you love your life right now? And just get into gratitude about this. And I want you to amplify that a little bit. And I want you to think about how you could love your life even more. What are some things that just make you really happy? If you were living a life that you love, how would you have evidence of that? How would you know that you were really living a life you love? How would it feel? How would it feel if you really loved your life? If you really just, you could wake up in the morning and just be listening to the birds sing. How could you love your life a little bit more? How could you be living that life that you really love? And just get into that choice. Just even say to yourself, I just choose to live a life I love. I choose the end result of loving the life I live. Just feel into that for a moment, how that would feel. And if you guys are okay with me connecting to your superconscious field, what I'd love for you to do is just focus on your breath for a moment, just taking a few nice deep breaths in through your belly and through your nose, expanding your belly. And as you breathe out, breathing out through your mouth and just letting all of the discord go, all of this contrast to just be released from your body, all of this dense energy. And imagine that there's this big full moon above your head, shining this beautiful silvery white light. And just imagine this white silvery light cascading over your whole body. And it's almost like it's cleansing and cleaning and clearing anything that doesn't need to be there anymore. Any of this old stuff that's been kind of coming up. Any of these old parts of us that seem to be surfacing. And superconscious, just bring all of these parts on board for this beautiful journey of just loving the life that we have. Just really living a life that we love. And allow us to see more of that, feel more of that, hear more of that right now. What it would truly look like, what it would truly feel like to just be living a life that we love. Being able to just go wherever we want, share whatever we want, and expand into that. What does that mean for you? Allow your superconscious field to just be dancing around in your imagination. Just play in the sandbox and bring all the parts on board. And just showing them this beautiful vision of where it is that you're going, this end result, this GPS point of loving this life. Having this life of health and vitality, where you're just doing the things for your body that you feel just feels so right, that you're taking the time to do, that you're making an effort in. If you think, oh gosh, it would feel good to do yoga, just go do 5 minutes right now, right? Taking that time. How does it feel to really be honoring your health, to be paying attention to what's going in your mouth, to be paying attention to what's going into your body and why you may even want that, what could be a better choice. Just creating that life of health and vitality and wellness, and just envision that in your mind's eye, living that, drinking your juice, getting your juicer out again, maybe. Allowing yourself to just be in that space of living that life of health and vitality in this life that you just love, that's comfortable. Bringing all parts on board with these true choices and just creating the perfect treatment plan in the perfect order. Eliminating time-wasting events and sabotage techniques. And just bringing that all into the conscious mind and doing a massive change history on that. And superconscious, just go through and tag and treat any of the events or the experiences that we may have had up until now that dragged us off course a little bit, that maybe created some extra parts that needed protection, some defragmentations, treating all of those in the field right now. Treating all of those defragmentations. And just bringing this into the whole of the experience of where we're going. Doing a massive change history on all events, original events, and all experiences that may cause resistance to this. And just treating any identities, cleaning and clearing some of these up, and creating these identities based on these values of a truthful, honest, wise leader. See yourself walking in this identity, this new you, this person you're becoming every day. Notice some things that may be around you. Maybe there's certain people, maybe there's a certain place, a certain happy place that's coming up and out. Just allowing that energy to be created. Really expanding into this timeline of living this life that you love. Just enjoying life, enjoying those around you, feeling the laughter, feeling so happy and so good. Doing a massive change history on that. Allowing all parts to see the growth that's occurring, the growth that's been happening, this growth that you've been asking for. Out of self-sabotage and into self-reliance and self-acceptance and self-love in a way that you've never felt before, and doing a massive change history around that. And treating, tagging, and cleaning up any self-sabotaging beliefs, any limiting beliefs in the field still about not being worthy or not having enough information, not being good enough, not being able to create waves, having to be perfect, needing to belong, not being judged. Just notice if you feel anything in the body, any gurgles, any feelings from the body, strong yes, where your body will actually rock and wave a little bit like the wind blowing a tree. And just imagine yourself being blown around in the wind like a tree. And anything you're needing to just let go of, those leaves are just falling away from the tree, transforming into this new, beautiful tree that's growing and expanding. giving life to others, shedding anything it doesn't need, tagging and treating all of the chakras and energy centers, especially the throat, especially for those who have been afraid to be seen, tagging and treating, not wanting to be seen, and doing a massive change history on that. Your soul's journey is part of being seen, and that's why you've been called to this over and over again. Choosing to just let this be, to let yourself be seen, to let yourself change the world. You do a massive change history on that. Tagging and treating the crown, the third eye. Imagine this beautiful moonlight just cascading over your crown, over the top of your head, like it's plasma or ooze just coming down your whole body, cleansing, purifying, clearing, making this new version of yourself. Watching it just go over your face, transforming, allowing anything in the third eye to be opened up to see these visions of who you really are and what your true nature really is. And allowing the throat chakra to be cleansed, cleaned, transmuted, balanced. Knowing that the words you're speaking are truthful and impactful to all of those who need to hear them. Treating the heart chakra, the heart wall, some of those boundaries and barriers that we've put up. And going down deep into the solar plexus, this fire energy that's coming in with the Sagittarius moon, allowing that beautiful white silver light to ignite the spark within you, the power within you, the creator within you, the healer within you, that you know you are. Cleaning and clearing and tagging and treating the sacral and the root plexus and chakra. Any of those old familial things that need to be drifting away like leaves floating downstream. All of the ancestral patterns, all of those old patterns that have been with us for generations, allowing that all to shift, move, clean, clear, and transmute, balancing out in the system. And superconscious do a massive change history on all of those energy centers. Feeling that clarity and that light start to just wash through with this silver white light from the moon coming down over your whole body, cascading down to your legs, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your feet, and finally your toes, and just tapping down deep into that Mother Earth. Imagining that there's roots growing down, grounding you, recoding all of these beliefs with the codes that you've now instilled with your values, with your heart's desire, and feeling grounded like a tree. When you're ready, you can come on back, just opening your eyes, wiggling a finger or a toe, grounding all of this into the matrix of the universe and into memories and timelines 1, 2, and 3. We got so much gurgling and stuff going on. I feel like it probably is getting picked up on the mic, so I apologize for all the gurgles. So enjoy this beautiful Sagittarian energy that's coming in with this moon. It's really exciting. It's made to help us shift. It's made to help us grow. If you ever want to do a birth chart or a natal chart, I like going to either astro.com or it's called alabe.com. It's ALABE.com, and it's quite beautiful because it shows your rising, your sun, and your moon sign. And go by your rising sign as your horoscope, and it almost gives you like 3 of them. They're really profound right now, and they're really quite neat. And when you look at your birth chart, you start to understand where the planets sit. And so when I talk about Sagittarius, there's a lot of us that are rising Sagittarius, or, it's in our field that will feel it even stronger. It just helps to give you a little bit more of an understanding around that. And I find it quite profound when you can actually read 3 things, and it gives you like a full on, this is sort of how you are, this is how things are according to you don't even have to put in your email, you can just put in your birth date and your birth time, and it'll give you some extra insight so that you can really hone in those values and really start creating for this month, because it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big few months. So yeah, awesome. So I will stop recording. Thank you so much for